with Scotland's best in big fights, and we're all set for our top of the bill here. Now, just a reminder that if you are watching on Sky Digital tonight, you can play the sports quiz and access the Sky Active menu at any time simply by pressing the red button on your remote control. Tony Wehbee is well used to travelling, fighting far from home, and it's not been a problem through the Australian's long career, but the Commonwealth Featherweight title is his way back here. We await Scotland's champion. Michael Pass is our MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Would you please welcome now to the ring the champion from Cambuslang here in Scotland, Scott, the real Harrison.
2001 was the year for Cambuslang solid, tough, brave and thinking boxer Scott Harrison. Voted Young Fighter of the Year by the British Boxing Writers Club. He celebrated by wiping out strong domestic opposition in Richie Wenton, Gary Thornhill and Steve Robinson. Now to the Kelvin Hall, home of so many Scottish memories since it opened in the 30s, as he picks up speed towards an assault in world class. It's lovely to see such a throwback to an old-fashioned fighter, Jim.
Yeah, it's nice to see a fighter that wants to do it the traditional way, the old way. He hasn't played around with the tuppence halfpenny titles. Commonwealth champion, British champion, talking about the European and looking towards the world later this year. That everything has fallen into place for him, improving with every contest, but this could be a real tough one for him tonight.
Let's have a look at the tail of the tape against the Australian from Sydney, Tony Wehbee, who is 6 years older than Harrison. Bags more experience. He's much taller as well. They were both inside the 9 stone limit. Wehbee needed 2 attempts at that, and he's got the reach as well. You see, he debuted in 91, Wehbee. Harrison 6 years ago. He's had more fights, more rounds boxed, and that's a crucial stat. 60% knockout, 8 inside the first round. Tony Wehbee. Got to be careful early, Scott.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening once more from the magnificent Kelvin Hall here in the city of Glasgow, Scotland. Tonight, Frank Warren Sports Network, in association with our main sponsors, Red Square Verve and Glasgow City Council, proudly present 12 3-minute rounds for the Featherweight Championship of the Commonwealth. We'd like to welcome our viewers watching live and exclusively on Sky Sports. The officials have been appointed by the Commonwealth Council in association with the British Boxing Board of Control. Steward in charge is Mr. Fred Kennedy. Timekeeper at the bell from Glasgow is Mr. Ricky Gilmore. Finally, when the action commences, our referee is one of Britain's finest, star referee, Mr. Ian John Lewis of Gillingham, England. And now introducing the boxers. Fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white-coloured shorts with a black trim. At the weighing, he scaled 8 stone, 13 pounds and 14 ounces. From 38 contests, he has 30 wins. 23 of those wins coming by a way of knockout, 7 defeats and 1 draw. He is a 3-time Australian champion. He is the challenger from Sydney, Australia. Please welcome to Glasgow, Tony Wehbee. And opposing him, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the solid black shorts with the yellow trim. At the weighing, he scaled 8 stone, 13 and 1/4 pounds. He has an outstanding record, 17 contests, 15 wins. 7 of those wins coming by way of knockout, with only the 1 solitary defeat and 1 draw. Tonight, he comes to the ring as the proud, current and reigning featherweight champion of Great Britain and the Commonwealth. Tonight, making the 5th defense of his Commonwealth Championship from Cambuslang, Scotland, the champion, Scott, the real Harrison.
A hero's welcome for Scott Harrison.
The referee, Mr. Ian John Lewis, will now give his final instructions to both boxers. This is 12 3-minute rounds for the Featherweight Championship of the Commonwealth.
Boxers. I am the referee. I spoke to both in the dressing rooms. Obey my command at all times. You both know the rules. Watch them heads, kick them punches up. When I shout break, you break clean. And remember, defend yourself at all times. Shake hands.
Fifth defence of the Commonwealth 9-stone crown for Scott Harrison. The title he won 2 years ago on Burns Night. Incredibly then, his first hometown performance. He returned up here for defence number 4, picking apart Steve Robinson emphatically, now back again in front of a growing band of Harrison followers who adore his grit and see a new Scottish hero. But he's got to be careful against the big punching Australian Tony Wehbee, who is bound to go for Harrison early.
Yeah, well, he's giving away height and weight to a puncher, and that's not something you want to do. He's going to have to keep that chin down. This fella already, he looks awkward. He throws solid punches from awkward angles. He's aggressive. He's looking for a first-round knockout here. So Scott wants to be a little bit careful. It might take him a round or two to get some rhythm against this type of opponent, but don't take any chances.
Seems so much bigger, Wehbee. Almost looks a weight division above Harrison, who looked fairly tight on the scales last night, the Scot. But it was Wehbee who needed to make 2 trips, having sweated off a few ounces. Harrison just wants to go about his work steadily, as always.
Well, I think the sooner he can get this fella onto his back foot, the better. If a fella has power, then you don't want him coming forward with that power, you want him backing up with it.
Wehbee, who was once ranked amongst the top 10 featherweights in the world, but suffered a first-round defeat recently. And he said that he had a sort of mini nervous breakdown in the ring that night, one that he wanted to block away from the memory, but he could just be getting fragile, nearing the age of 31. Harrison at 24, the young, up-and-coming featherweight who's thought of so highly in the British Isles.
Well, already Wehbee, he looks awkward. He doesn't look, he's clever in the slightest. I think his strength and power are just going to be the big problems in the early rounds. So careful boxing in the early rounds. Get him onto his back foot as soon as you can. I don't think it'll be too long before Harris can solve this fellow out, but he does look dangerous.
Gangly and wild, doesn't he, Wehbee? Harrison already trying to get the jab working to some effect, and shouldn't find this Australian too hard to hit once he gets his rhythm going. Good body shot from Harrison.
See, Wehbee's putting full power into the punches, so I mean you can't expect him to be doing that for 12 rounds. I don't know if he's going to slow down, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like he's going to keep coming at Harrison and try and blast him out of there.
Certainly trying to make it 9 first-round wins, Wehbee. That's obviously the game plan, but it hasn't worked. And Harrison has got through safe and sound. We're back to the Kelvin Hall, and Scott Harrison's corner, Father Peter there with him. And tricky beginning.
Yeah, well, smart stuff from Harrison. I mean, he must have felt the power in this fellow's punches on his arms right at the start of the round, so he just kept his chin down, just waited for his opportunities and took them when they arrived. But a fairly even first round.
Round 2, British and Commonwealth featherweight champion Scott Harrison defending the Commonwealth title for the 5th time against Tony Wehbee from Sydney in Australia in the white trunks. And that's a good right hand from Harrison at the beginning of the second. Looks wide open to me, Wehbee.
He telegraphs the right hand as well. I don't see him finding Harrison's chin with that, sending a telegram first. Strong and awkward. I think that's the problems in the early rounds here.
Harrison always been sensible and methodical, thinking about what he does. Slight criticism, maybe a little one-dimensional, but he's improving with every fight. Looked so good against Steve Robinson last time, and he's starting to get through to Wehbee here. Good jabs. Strong, solid look about Harrison. Doesn't take any chances.
Yeah, good controlled boxing. He has the perfect style for championship distance. Doesn't waste any moves, doesn't waste any punches. Always in the best of condition.
Of course, he had that experience of going to Madison Square Garden and fighting Tracy Harris Patterson on the Lennox Lewis Michael Grant undercard. Also fought on the Lewis Botha undercard when Tom Boom Boom Johnson went the distance with him. Invaluable, and now Wehbee dropping his hands and retreating. Worrying sign from the Australian.
See, I don't really think Wehbee has mastered the basics, Adam. He's all over the place. And Harrison beginning to pick him off here.
Looks very rugged, Tony Wehbee. Arms everywhere. Just looking for the one-punch bomb. And Harrison too clever for that. It's a great body shot. And Wehbee felt that. Right hand from Harrison. Here, John Lewis already having a look. Because Wehbee is not shipping these punches.
No defence whatsoever. As I say, Adam, he hasn't even mastered the basics. He's strong, he's powerful, he's certainly brave, but making so many mistakes, and they're against a complete little fighting machine.
He's had 38 fights to Harrison's 17, but you're looking at a well-rounded boxer against, well, someone who's looking for a hidden hope. The amateur class, and the cut now on the left eye of Tony Wehbee to hamper him further. Well, it's great pedigree being shown by Scott Harrison. Very, very impressive. And there's the cut eye. Terry Lewis, Willie Connolly in the corner, working on it. But danger signs for Wehbee here.
Yeah, his defence is completely deserted him. I mean, with his experience, when you get caught like a shot like that, the first thing you do is tighten up, get the chin down, get the hands up. But he didn't do that. Still trying to launch counter-attacks. And really, his balance is poor, his technique's poor. As I said earlier, his awkwardness and his strength and his power, definitely a problem for Harrison, but he seems to be solving them already. This probably where the cut arrived, Adam. See, there were no clashes of heads, although some of the actions are untidy. So there we go, accurate punching from Harrison. Quite possible that little exchange is where the cut is caused.
Two beautiful jabs. Well, Tony Wehbee's travelled all around the world. South Africa, Indonesia, Thailand, Japan. But he's having a different experience here in Scotland. And Harrison is picking his punches quite superbly. It's a storm from Wehbee, but it seems to be the only thing he can do. And once Harrison gets in that rhythm, there's little stopping him. Great right hand, flush on the chin, and another one. Defense non-existent from Tony Wehbee. And Harrison hitting him at will, he beckons him in. That could be a big mistake. Huge left hook from Harrison. Almost landing at will, Scott Harrison. Got to be careful of the one sucker punch that Wehbee's looking for. But he's too clever for that.
Well, Wehbee's just trying to show how macho he is and that he's not troubled by Harrison's punching, but look at the mess his face is in. We're only in the third round here, look at the mess of his face.
The eye looks bad now, bleeding again. Harrison only 7 inside the distance stoppages, but this could be number 8. Here John Lewis having a look. And he had to throw something back there, Wehbee, which he did. Got to get off the ropes, Tony Wehbee. Look at that left hand again, Jim.
This is excellent stuff from Harrison, just keeping his composure, keeping his cool. I think he wants the doctor maybe have a look at the cut.
He's going to have a look at the eye. Ian John Lewis doesn't think it's going to go on. It's going to be a third round stoppage, I believe. It's over! Scott Harrison wins in sensational style. The same round it took him to beat Steve Robinson. He's done it to the Australian Tony Wehbee. And I think world class is next. They're looking at Julio Pablo Chacon, the WBO champion. And Jim, is he ready?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah, definitely ready, definitely world class. Sometimes a cut-eye victory we say is inconclusive, but that's not the case here. I think in the 3 rounds we saw who the better man was, how the outcome was going to go. Wehbee was brave, determined, powerful, but he wasn't in the same class as this young fellow here. Everything going so well, this is the time now to move into world level. While his confidence is there, he's really serious about the game. This is the perfect time for him to go for major honours now.
Well, he covered up in the first round and then he just went to work and teed off at Wehbee at will.
Yeah, just so compact. He knew the big fellow threw wide punches, wide powerful punches, just kept his chin down, just worked away steadily, just punching the resistance out of him. I know the end came because of the cut, but we could see at that stage where the accurate boxing and the accurate punching was coming from. Lovely performance from Harrison, no mistakes, did the job perfectly. Just kept his cool, didn't have to raise the pace, just steady flow of punches. Not too many got through cleanly in that little exchange, but enough did to cause the damage we're looking at in Wehbee's face.
Stopped because of the cut eye, but the result was inevitable, and it probably would have been stopped at the end of the round. I mean, he was taking far too much. Yep.
Yeah, definitely, but the referee had no choice. If it was a competitive fight and he was giving as good as he got, then you could maybe say, right, let's go a little bit further. But all the good punches were coming his way, and look at the state of that eye.
Huge smiles on the faces of Frank Maloney and Frank Warren in the ring. They believe they may have the best featherweight in Britain. Nassim Hamed would argue, Wayne McCulloch would argue, Michael Brodie would argue, but he is ready to be stepped up.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute and 49 seconds of round number 3, referee Ian John Lewis has stopped the contest due to Wehbee having suffered a severe cut over the left eye. The winner, and still the featherweight champion of the Commonwealth from Cambuslang in Scotland, Scott "The Real" Harrison.